Good evening. The January 18th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of the City of Longview is now called to order. Commissioner Noon will lead us in the invocation. Please rise.
Please join me as we go to the Lord in prayer. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, again, we have so many things to be thankful for. We're thankful, Lord, that you allow us to live in this great nation. We just ask that you be with the leaders of the nation on the federal level, the state level, and the local level. Be with us tonight as we make decisions, that they be the correct decisions. And we just ask forgiveness. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you. Now, if you'll join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting in December. Has everyone had an opportunity to review them, and are there any corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We've now reached the citizen comment portion of our meeting. This portion of citizen comments are comments that are made other than the public hearing items that we have on the agenda tonight. If you wish to speak on the agenda item, please wait until that time to speak. Please begin by stating your name and address for the public record. We're now on the consent agenda, and the items on the consent agenda are plats that meet the requirements of the City of Longview subdivision ordinance. These items will be approved with one vote unless any member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, any member of the public, or the applicant would like an item removed from consent and placed on the regular agenda for discussion. Would anyone like for an item to be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda for discussion tonight? Hearing none, I will now entertain a motion.
I move approval as written.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. We're now to the regular agenda. The purpose of this meeting is to hear all pertinent testimony of those in support of and in opposition to the applications before the Commission. Tonight is the first of two public hearings required to approve a change in zoning. The Commission also considers plats. The procedure for public hearing items to be followed tonight will be: the public hearing will be opened and testimony will be heard in the following order. First from the staff, then second from the applicant, and third from the general public, and that includes those in support and in opposition to the request. If you're part of a large group with a common interest, we ask that you appoint a spokesperson rather than have each individual restate the same information. And when addressing the Commission, please begin by stating your name and address and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes. When all sides have spoken, the public hearing on the matter will be closed and no further public discussion will be entertained. After each public hearing is closed, the Commission will vote on the request. Zoning request and the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation will go forward to the second public hearing, which will be conducted by the City Council on February 10. We're now on to agenda item A, and Angela will introduce it.
Thank you. A public hearing will be held to consider application Z22-01 filed by John Whitehurst, requesting a rezone from agriculture and planned development general retail to single-family 4 for approximately 10.808 acres of abstract 66 William Robinson Survey, tract 9-02, located at the northwest corner of McCann Road and Wellington Lane. And I'll go into my staff report. The applicant is requesting a rezone of approximately 10 acres located at the northwest corner of McCann and Wellington Lane. The property is currently zoned agricultural and planned development general retail, and the applicant is requesting to rezone the property to single family 4. The applicant is proposing a subdivision with approximately 37 lots. Staff does find the proposed zoning change is consistent with the future land use map and surrounding uses. Therefore, the request does not constitute spot zoning. I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions of staff? Hearing none, is the applicant present? Would you like to come to the microphone, give us your name and address, and tell us about your project?
Hi, my name is John Whitehurst. I live at 3902 Chase Creek Place here in Longview. I'm simply requesting a change of rezone to a possible development for single-family homes. This is the very beginning of our stages. We don't have very many details at all, but we're requesting the rezone to be able to proceed at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Whitehurst. Any questions of the applicant or of staff? Thank you, sir. We will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak in support of this project? Hearing none, is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition of this request? If so, please come to the microphone. Do the commissioners have any additional questions? We'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, and who was the second? And Mr. Noon was the second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Regular agenda item B. Angela, will you introduce it?
Yes, ma'am. A public hearing will be held to consider application Z22-02 filed by Commonwealth Development Corporation requesting a rezone from single-family 4 to multifamily zoning district for approximately 5.985 acres of abstract 4 IC Skillerin Survey, Tract 66, Section 5, located on the east side of Gilmer Road, north of Jenny Street. The applicant is requesting a rezone, as stated previously, from single-family 4 to multifamily. The applicant is proposing a multifamily development with approximately 66 single-story cottage-style apartments for seniors. Gilmer Road is a TxDOT roadway and is classified as a principal arterial. Principal arterials are designated to provide a high degree of mobility, service-related, relative high traffic volumes, have high operational speeds, and service a significant portion of through travel. This type of development is appropriate along this roadway as long as access management is followed. Staff finds the proposed zoning change is consistent with the future land use map and adjacent zoning. Therefore, this request does not constitute spot zoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Any questions of staff? Let it be noted that Commissioner Noon recused himself from this agenda item. Is the applicant present?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to come to the microphone, give us your name and address, and tell us about your project, sir?
My name is Devin Baker, 30 North Rainforest, Spring, Texas. As Angela Choi has helped me with and already described, this would be a 66-unit, 55 and up elderly project, single-story cottage style. The zoning to the north, on the north 6-acre tract is already zoned multifamily 3, so we were trying to get a congruent zoning on the southern tract in order to accommodate this single-story proposed development. I'm available for any questions. Sorry.
Would you restate what you just said about the plat to the north?
Yes, ma'am. So we're under contract on both properties. The 6 acres, 6.24 to the north, and then the 5.98 to the south. So it's a 12.24 acre development site, and we need to zone the southern portion of it.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions of the applicant? Thank you, Mr. Baker. We will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak in support of this request?
My name is Kevin Stagner, and I own one of the properties on Jenny that would be an adjourner to this, so I have a single-family home over there. There's a couple of things that I have questions about, so I want to say first off that I'm very much in support of utilizing property that we have in Longview to the best of its real estate value. And so there's a couple of concerns that I had when we changed things to multifamily. We allow things to be actually 3 stories, and so I have some concerns about a 3-story building being in close proximity to one of my properties that would actually look over into the backyard. And so I had some questions about that I would, kind of throw that out there because it's important. We're single family. There should be some buffers that would help those people that have future use developments in the close proximity so it doesn't affect their value. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that I knew and that we understood is that all of these, as I understand, are supposed to be one story? Okay, and if it changes to a multifamily, then people are basically through with the zoning application. It's done. And so if it comes back, we have an issue then where perhaps they can do whatever they want to do there. So I just kind of wanted some reassurance, but for sure, I see this as being a very good thing happening in Longview, and I would like to see that happen. If it happens as a multifamily or a planned development, then, I'm okay with either one, but I do have some concerns about, being a property owner and an adjoiner.
Okay, Mr. Stagner, just for the record, could you give us your address, please?
41 Oak Creek Ridge,
Thank you.
Longview, Texas.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in opposition or in support of this agenda item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next is agenda item C. Angela, please introduce it.
Yes, ma'am. A public hearing will be held to consider application S22-01 filed by Main and Main Capital Group requesting a specific use permit to allow for a restaurant with a drive-through window in general retail zoning district for a portion of Lot 2, Block 1, Liberty Baptist Church Edition, located at 1500 West Loop 281. And can somebody grab Mr. Noon, please? And then Mr. O'Rear will need to abstain from this item.
He went through that door. Would you check on him, please?
Thank you.
And you can go that way. It is just one big room
Yes,
back there.
ma'am, it is.
Welcome back. We lost another one. Thank you, Angela, for catching that.
Of course. And I will go into my staff report. The applicant is requesting a specific use permit for a restaurant with a drive-through window in general retail zoning district. A specific use permit is required for drive-through windows within general retail zoning district to ensure no negative impact on surrounding properties. This tract is not directly adjacent to the properties to the south, which is the residential lots, as you can see here on this plan. It's approximately 174 feet away from the property lines to the south, the residential properties to the south. However, the tract directly to the east, which they've labeled the Brahms parcel, they did receive a specific use permit for a restaurant with a drive-through window in 2017, and their property lines actually did touch. They shared a property line with the residential properties in Wildwood, and so there were some stipulations placed on that tract of land, including an 8-foot tall wooden fence being installed along the rear property line, maintenance of a 100-foot easement along the rear property lines where no buildings, parking, or lighting shall be allowed within that easement, and then a maintenance of a 50-foot natural buffer at the rear of the property adjacent to the residential. As I stated again, they did share a property line with that tract, so that's why those stipulations were in place. However, with this request, they are 174 feet away from that adjacent residential property. Staff does find that this proposed zoning change is consistent with our future land use map and surrounding uses, therefore it does not constitute spot zoning. So I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
I have a question. Would there be any new accesses from the loop?
No, ma'am. So
Other
they're
than the two that are there?
So they're just gonna share, those tracts of land will share access.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Is the applicant present?
Howdy. Sam Moore, 2505 Penshurst Court, Salina, Texas, 75009. What we're proposing here today, and thank you for your time tonight, we're proposing a Dutch Bros coffee shop over here. We're the developer for them in DFW in Houston, and now they're expanding over to the east, and we're honored to bring them over to Longview for your consideration. Dutch Bros was originally the largest private coffee company in the U.S. before becoming publicly traded in September this past year. They originally started in Grants Pass, Oregon, Southern Oregon, in an agricultural community as a small push cart espresso option. From there, they established their growth all over the West Coast, and now they're heading to the east over here. This past year, we helped them grow tremendously throughout DFW and Houston, and now Longview in East Texas is a focal point for them. So like I said before, this is a 950 square foot building where employees can only access the building. There's no indoor seating whatsoever. So the majority of our business is drive-through only. We do offer some walk-up services. So you can see to the left, on the left side of the building, we have an overhang canopy. If anyone wishes to park and come in and collect their drink, they can hang out for a little bit. But our deal is that we try to keep our ticking time, which is, we try to keep the ticking time underneath 30 seconds, which is the time that a car pulls up to the drive-through window and drives off with their order. So our game is cycling cars through. We're trying to be the best part and quickest part of everyone's morning or afternoon whenever you need coffee. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anyone have any questions of Mr. Moore?
Y'all doing one over in Tyler yet?
You know, we have a few going on right now.
I saw one at College Station, and I knew I'd seen one here
Yep.
recently. Isn't there one pretty close to here?
So we built one over in Princeton. Probably the next closest one would be College Station or Houston.
Okay.
Any other questions of the applicant or staff? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak in support of this request? Please come to the microphone. Is there anyone that would like to speak in opposition? Likewise, come to the microphone and introduce yourselves. Any additional questions or comments before I close the public hearing? Yes, sir. Come to the microphone, please. Give us your name and address.
My name is Johnny Medrano, and I live at 1401 Tiffany in Longview, Texas.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I was a little slow, but the hours of operation are
5 a.m. to 11 p.m. And that's Monday through Sunday,
Okay.
7 days a week.
and the lot will be available for how many vehicles?
Sorry.
How many vehicles would be allowed to park?
Sure. So here, I'm trying to count them up there. I
Okay,
apologize.
just throw a figure.
It looks like at least 10, and then we could fit approximately 25 to 30 within the drive-through stack.
Okay. Super, okay. Glad to have you guys come in.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, hope we can make it happen.
Thank you.
Johnny, what was your last name again, sir?
Medrano, Medrano, 1401 Tiffany.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am, thank you for giving me time.
Certainly. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and will entertain a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We need a staff update, which is the last item on the agenda. Angela, will you provide an update of City Council action on the previous zoning items from the January 13 meeting?
Yes, ma'am. The one zoning item that went to council for Longview Independent School District was approved by City Council.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? If not, that concludes today's meeting, and we are adjourned. Thank you for your attendance and participation.